Hello. I would get started. Look at how my bun ended up. Just like a tuft. I had to leave it because it was too perfect. Good morning, Nicole. Hello. Or is it morning for you? My phone decided to have a status up or a software update for me this morning, so it's still doing that. There we go. We'll get stitching in a moment. Too much stuff. I'm gonna put this over here. I'll forget about it again. It is morning. Cool. Oh, never mind. It just turned on. I got 1,800 stitches yesterday on my barnyard animals. You need advice? Well, I love to give advice that doesn't really apply to other people. I got all the way across, and now I have a block of, or 10 row high across the whole pattern except over here. So I might just add one color over here, one length over here or something. And then I'm across the whole pattern, 10 high. Laura! Oh my goodness, it's been so long. With one strand. What kind of floss are you using? My phone is updating. That's why that's why you don't see any stitching right now. It's been a while since I've worked on IoWho. I just kind of am into the full coverage thing these days. I can't hear myself very well. Let me go like this. Nor can I hear the audio very well. There. Yeah, that's good. Okay, she's back. The phone is back. Yeah, I haven't stitched on IoWho very much these days. So we're going to go back to her today. You're hiding. That's okay. Hiding is okay. You know what? Oh, excuse me. DMC 310. Isn't 310 like, hey, Zoe, thank you for your shout out in your latest video. That's very sweet of you. Anybody else have problems with DMC 310? Fraying and twisting? Twisting, I guess. Oh, awesome. Okay, here we go. There's IoWho. Oh, that is where I'll be working, so we'll just keep it there. $40 centimeters. Oh, that's not long. Oh. Vanessa, it held that comment. Sometimes it holds the weirdest comments. Okay, I guess it doesn't know that we're talking about floss. So this is 40. This is 40 centimeters. That's not that long. Yeah, 15-inch. How do you know? It's close to 16. It's like a half centimeter away from 16. I wonder if it depends on the dye lot. Hey, Lindsay. I don't know, Zen. Whoa, it's popping today. Y'all are talking a lot even before I get stitching. It's very ambient music. What are you doing? Hold on to your lunch. We're moving. Hey, Jennifer. Y'all, Jennifer finished Betsy Bird. Just like that. She finished. And now I'm like over here twiddling my thumbs. Haven't worked on it in a couple days. Okay, we're gonna need to fix this a little bit. I know you updated the software. Single strand doesn't have the support of a second strand to not twist, so try shorter length. Yeah, beeswax. Oh, I forgot about that. Thread conditioner. That might be an idea. I have to put something here that it doesn't move so much. The fabric could be rough and damaging the threads. That's a big one, I think. Yeah, small sow. You want to do a big sow? Do you want to do a big sow with me? Use a bigger needle. Yeah, the fabric has a lot to do with it. This fabric is pretty, well, it's 20 count, but yeah, try beeswax. See if that helps. .28 count. See, you guys give way better advice than I do, which is good. That's why I have these, so we can talk to each other. I just got pulled in so many directions. Zoe shouted me out in her video, and my hopes are not up, but I did gasp when you said what you said about tiny things. I was like, no, she didn't. Well, okay, so I did a giveaway. The only giveaway that I've done. And Jennifer commented on it wanting a giveaway. Do you know where I'm going with this, Jennifer? Excuse me, my chair. I should put some WD-40 on it or something. A big sow? We don't have to do a big cell together. But if you wanted to stitch that pattern. Y'all remember Starry Cats? Oh, we want this one. I'm already selling a Haid, so why not another? Look at those kitties. One is kind of like Hamilton. Maybe, ooh. Maybe we could do like Van Gogh November. And we could make it like a big Sal. Like Stitch Anything Van Gogh. Why not? Okay, speaking of cats, I have two stories about cats. I'll tell you the least exciting one first. We went to Baltimore Symphony on Friday, and I needed it. It was a good thing to go to the symphony. But they did Peter and the Wolf, and if you're unfamiliar with Peter and the Wolf, it's kind of like the piece of music that demonstrates each instrument, or demonstrates a lot of different instruments in solos. So, for example, like the bird is played by the flute, and it goes, and it's like a bird. And then the duck is represented by the oboe. Yes, do a mini one. And then the oboe goes for the duck. And then the cat, there's a black cat, and it is, I think it's just a cat, and it's represented by the clarinet, and it goes do 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 do. And then the dad, or the hunter, is represented by drums. Peter is by the strings, and he has this really cute melody as he's walking. So he goes hunting for this big wolf, and I can't quite remember this story, but somehow he makes friends with all these animals. And the assistant conductor, I think, was who programmed and conducted the concert. He is actually a recent graduate of the university that Dylan's going to, Peabody. And he was hired as their assistant conductor, which was really cool. And he had his friend, who is a rapper, kind of revamp, not like he didn't rearrange the music, but he wrote a narration that is like on the theme of Baltimore. Of Baltimore. The theme of Baltimore. So instead of a bird, it was an oriole. And then when it came time for the duck, it was like, we see ravens around here, but this one was a duck. It was really funny. And instead of like him hunting outside, he was in an alleyway, and the wolf came into the alleyway, and the dad banged on trash cans to scare away the wolf. And it wasn't a huntsman, it was his father. And it was this cute little story that was like, his dad understood why Peter went outside, because he wanted to save the animals, because they were his friends. Okay, I better get along with these comments because y'all are going to start a sale without me. Uh-huh. There's lots on unconventional cross stitch. I have a Starry Night, but I UFO'd it. That's why I want to do. I've seen that one, Jennifer, on the mini one on Etsy, right? They specialize in teeny tiny patterns. I'll have to find that and show it on my floss tube. Yeah, Disney did an animated version. And it's kind of like part of elementary music curriculum is Peter and the Wolf, because it's just so iconic and easy for kids to latch onto. Okay, we're gonna look this up now. Yeah, I know I have it. I know I've looked at it. I can't spell. Oh, there's a few. There's a few of them. I can't remember the one that I was looking at. I think maybe this one. And they also have other ones. Japanese bridge, ballerina, see, bedroom, the waves, Mona Lisa. Look at the Mona Lisa. Ooh, maybe I should shouldn't have that open. Maybe I will. Oh, I clicked a different display. Oh well. Maybe I should have a giveaway and give away those patterns so I can like give away 5 of those and people can stitch along with me on mini Starry Nights. Hi, Christy. We've got a party in here. Oh. Oh. I have other... Oh, so anyway, yeah, we went to the Baltimore Symphony. It was awesome. Hey, Ashley. And it was great to hear live music in person. We had to have our vaccine cards. Yeah, I'd be masked, of course. Ever since y'all told me that you stitch with one strand on 40 count, I've like been reconsidering this choice on 20 count. 'Cause like, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's pretty bulky. Maybe for the States I'll just stick to 2 strands on 20 count. Okay. Other cat news? We're gonna adopt a kitty cat. We're gonna adopt a cat. get a kitty cat. We already applied for a kitty. We applied for a cat. This is where the delay is really killing me. Lowest I use one strand for, I guess 40 count or 20. This is full cross though. Yeah. I don't think I should tell you any details, but I might just tell you details because I'm not gonna like reveal anything about the cat. So we have applied. We have an interview. We're doing it through the SPCA because I had a whole summer program pet show that I learned about the SPCA. And I miss the kitties. Yeah, we, Christy, you're actually exactly right. An old mangy feline. We applied for a 10-year-old female black cat. Oh. Cause I got home on Friday. I had a pretty bad day on Friday. I was not happy with how things went. I think because I was like, oh, it's Friday. The kids are gonna be good. And so I got home and I was upset and I was like, can we just go ahead and apply for a cat already? And Dylan was like, yeah, let's do it. So I went back on the website and she had been on their website for like since I started looking 4 weeks ago. I just was scrolling through cats on SPCA when we got here and I was like, oh, just looking at the kitties. And so we learned a little bit about her, learned her preferences. Like one thing that we were like, oh yeah, is that she doesn't really feel like jumping up on stuff very much. So that's good. She likes to sit in your lap. She's pretty mellow, which is kind of what we wanted for this apartment. Oh, I can't wait. I hope we get her. But it was pretty quick. I applied and they were like, schedule an interview, please. She's in foster care right now. Yeah. And it seems like she would adjust really well they said that she adjusted well to her foster home. So hopefully she would adjust to us. But they did a pretty good job in the interview process. They ask you like, and I'm sharing this because I've never adopted an animal before, so I didn't know that this is what they did. And they ask, how much do you think it's going to cost to have this pet annually? And so we estimated, and then we got her medical records. She's missing almost all of her teeth. She's on a special diet. I'm just so excited. I just hope we get her. I can't think of reasons why we wouldn't, because we have history of living with cats and being around them a lot. Dylan's like the cat whisperer. Like I'm sure that he will be her favorite. Oh, they asked which vet you're gonna use. Yeah. So we were like, yep, we want a kitty now. We said October, but can't wait. Can't wait. We're gonna try something here. This is moving around. Oh, there are going to be so many pictures. She's completely black, but she, I'm sure, will be friends with Hamilton and Vanessa's kitties. Is someone in your family allergic, Zan? I think that's like, who created allergies? Like, get out of here. Why would you make people allergic to animals? Oh, that was not. Okay, so this stream is not really about what the cross stitch looks like. It's about the talking. Yeah. We wanted a lowish energy cat. Oh. Oh. 10-year-old boy. Oh. That's funny, Zan. Yeah, we actually were kind of like, all right, let's see if we can get her on Saturday or Sunday. I mean, they're probably closed on the weekends, but so on Tuesday we have an interview. We gotta go get some kitty stuff. Sure, she might come with some stuff from her foster parent, but foster home. But they might have cats too, so they need to keep their stuff. Ooh, this piece makes good ASMR. Yep, I recorded an ASMR yesterday, and then I stitched like pretty much all day. I kind of stopped at maybe 5 o'clock. I got 1,800 stitches. Yeah, see, okay. I think the reason why I'm tempted to switch to one strand on 20 count is that the stitches don't really look, they're not like super neat on this. And it's probably the fabric, like these holes are pretty small. Hey, Tanya. Did I reply to your comment yet? Yeah, I did. Tanya, you commented on my list, or on my ASMR, and you were like, yeah, why are you stitching on 40 count? I was like, I don't know. Actually, I do know. It's awesome and fun. Oh, I should have done this the other way. Oh well. I was thinking about this, like, I think some things I remember, like I have not in recent years given myself enough credit for what my brain does remember. So like Tanya's comment. But I also, like, when I'm teaching, I somehow remember attendance. Like I like start to write it down and then I get distracted by kids, which I could just set that boundary. I could be like, if I'm taking attendance, don't talk to me. But I always remember. I only do it for two classes. I only have 3 classes, and one is a small class, so I remember easily. But the 2 ones that are lots of kids, I actually remember, because I make it a point to make sure I look throughout the classroom, and I don't look for empty seats, I look for faces. So the quiet students that I usually forget that they were there, I make sure to look and see if they're there. And additionally, tomato potato. Additionally, I have a system where if they break one of the classroom norms, I give them a warning and say, okay, next time you break one of the norms, you lose participation points or daily, they're kind of like citizenship points, I guess. And I feel like it's good for me to have that in my class because, for many reasons. But actually on Friday, I was giving them verbal notices that they were losing points because of breaking the classroom norms. And I didn't write any of them down, but I remembered all of them. Which like kind of shocks me a little bit because I've never been one that's like super proud of my memory. Oh, Vanessa! Wait, there's a bundle? On the channel that I was showing you? Or where did you get them? Likes to remember stuff that happened in a dream and then Brain? Don't trick me. Okay, we're gonna do something wild. Stitch Van Gogh November. Yup. We're doing it. Oh, a different one. I mean, we can just say any Van Gogh. Any Van Gogh piece. Stitch along a small, stitch along a big. Stitch a llama, stitch a llama. Just kidding. Did Van Gogh paint any llamas? The stitch patterns. Okay, let's take a look. Yeah, I'm not digging this piece right now, Iowa. The stitch patterns. Ooh. Look at that. Look at the cafe one. Wow. Look. Look at that. That's beautiful. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh, cross stitch obsession. Wait, that's not the... Oh, this one. 50? 50? 50 mini? 50? You're lying. 50 patterns? 50 projects? Oh no. Uh-oh. I shouldn't have seen that. Oh no. What have you all done? Oh. The 100 hours thing? Mm-hmm. I am very lucky. Tanya. I'm very lucky, Christy. I don't know how, but I remember students' names really, really quickly. And it took me like maybe... Well, I have way less students than I used to in California, but I have, I think, about 100 students now. And a little bit under 100. And I remembered all their names within a couple days. Yeah. If you're going to do this, you got to put in a few stitches before the 23rd. What's on the 23rd? Okay, well, yeah, thanks, Vanessa. Now I know what I'm going to put on as my giveaway. I haven't done a giveaway in a while, so I'm just going to do it. I'll just say, you're going to buy a mini pattern. 1, 2, 3. Hey, Danielle. The roast. Roast in the oven. I mean, I did switch to vegetarian, but roast. Oh, roast. Yummy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That makes sense. The whips be gone challenge. Oh. I see. That's okay. If it's a mini, then are you good, Jennifer? You can twist the rolls a little bit. Just kidding. Dude. Anybody watch Alma's Little Wonders? She's one of the first people I started regularly watching on FlossTube. Because I was so fascinated with her No New Starts 2021. I know other people have done that, but she was the first one that I saw that was doing that. Also, I was like, she has 50 projects. Rocky Horror. I watched that in... When did they put that on? Like June or something? Oh no, they put it on before the election. And they had, I forgot his name. I'm terrible. There's 0 rules in cross stitch. Indeed. Now I need to see this. Now I need to see Rocky Horror Cell. Who is doing that? Oh. I think I found it. Frogging News? What's that? Oh. I guess I should be looking on Instagram because people are probably showing it on Instagram. Yeah. I'm not peer pressuring you, Tanya, but just you wait. The more enabled you get, I'm just kidding. You do you, girl. You stick to your monogamous stitching. I think that might be one of the most impressive things to me after making floss tubes and joining the community is people who are still monogamous stitchers after discovering floss tube. I just like the variety. Olivia Lee Studios. Oh, I was looking at the right one. Ooh. She makes pens. Or they make pens, I'm not sure. Oh, that's cute. Is it all out? That is really cute. Yay, Haley. We'll break it up with a mini. Yeah. I think I'm a process. I'm really bad at finishing stuff, so I'm like, oh, it's done. Okay. Haley, I think that's how a lot of us get back to cross stitch is we maybe set it down for a while. Or no, I've heard that from a lot of people. Like, oh, I learned from my grandma or from my mom. And then I didn't do it, and now I did do it. With a sal, is it usually stated if it's a middle or edge? Mm-hmm. Anybody want to chime in on Ashley's question? If it usually says if it starts in the top left or in the middle. I don't do very many sals, so I don't know. I think it just depends on the designer. And if they should specify if it's a top left or a middle. I've always started top left or in a corner. I have never started in the middle. I don't know why. TBI and a spinal cord injury halts having more. Wow. Yeah, true, Tanya. Oh, the last one comes out October 4th. Quilting whips. Yeah, good luck. I agree. You guys, the chat is going faster, or there have been more people in the chat today, so I'm like stitching less. Oh my goodness. This is great. You got the little kits from Michael's when you were a teen, but haven't done anything since. Yep. Welcome back. Welcome back to seeing all the things that you like and buying them, stitching them, wanting to stitch them. Yeah, it does depend. Haley, I'm that way too. And if it, I'm into quick crafts, which I don't know why I guess cross stitch is my marathon craft. But then like, so I've done this thing where I saw like a coloring book, like a mandala coloring book and gel pens, and I was like, ooh, I'm gonna do lots of coloring. And then I buy a big set of pens, I buy a coloring book or two, and then I color like one or two. Or I got this book one time that was like cut out stickers, and you have to match the sticker to its spot, and then it makes a painting. It was a Bob Ross, I think, book. And I did like one or two, and then I was like, oh, didn't do another one. Cryptid Sal. Yes, I know that some Sals, they give you like, if it's like a collage or something, that they give you the outline first. I think there was an Animal Crossing one where they give you the outline or something. And then, yeah, they specify which areas would be released in the order. Is it the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery that's doing the drinks? And it shows like what order they will be released. Oh, there you go. That's what Jennifer just said. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. You can do it. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Can you even hear it? It's really quiet right now. I have headphones on so I can hear it really well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And of course, there are some designers like Jacob who show you what the pattern will look like and gives you all the dimensions and stuff. Weaving. Huh. You're very... Laura, you have this really cool thing where you learn about the craft. I feel like I'm kind of like, I love the simplicity of just making an X. How many on this one? 8,000 times. I just like want it to be, I don't know, where I don't have to think about it. See, look at how gross these stitches look. They look like really, ugh. They're not very neat. It almost looks like I'm not crossing them the same way. I don't think I like 20 count. I want to learn to crochet. Oh, Tanya, that's awesome. I bet that's a good, whoops. I bet that's a good hobby. They give you weeks off. Oh. They know their audience. Aww. That's so cool. Yeah, I think I will, Vanessa. Like, this is good coverage, but I think I would like to enjoy the process better. I'm not like... I wonder if I tried stitching in hand, if it would be different. I have done some of this in hand, and it seems like... I don't know. I don't know if it turns out better. Stitching in hand. Gamer Nouveau. Gecko Rouge has some pretty charts. 1, 2. I also wonder if I wonder if doing the like modified continental stitch would make the stitches neater on here. Uses more floss, but might make the stitches neater. DFTBA and DS. I like that name. I keep my crosses the same way by project. However, if the pattern had quarter stitches, I think I would do it differently. So I'm thinking specifically about a box of chocolates pattern. A couple people are stitching it. Jessie Lee, she finished it, and Kim Hollenbeck, the Spartan Stitcher, she is stitching it. And I am not sure if I've seen anybody else stitching it. It's from like a 1992 Just Cross Stitch magazine. I think I also saw it on Pinterest, but it was ripped off. And that has a lot of quarter stitches. So, but it also has back stitching over those stitches. So I think that I would end up doing the crosses a different way for those quarter stitches, and then using the back stitch over it. I'm not sure though. It's that pattern. I still want to do that one because I started it twice when I was a kid, and I was doing it on Ada, and I didn't know what linen was or even weave, so I would do it on an even weave. Do it, just do it. You know, something that I've been really bad at this year is actually writing down my purchases. Like, I haven't purchased as much as I did last year, because last year I was yeah, Jennifer, right? Jessie Lee's, that's why I found her, is I was looking for people who were stitching that pattern, and I was like, ooh, look at that finish. Let me see, Instagram, let me show y'all. No, I don't need to turn on notifications. I still haven't figured out how to log on to Instagram on with my Stitchy account on my desktop. Okay, check this out. Look at that. Look at how cute that is. Oh, that's her. Whoops. Look at that. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh, you can't really tell. I can't zoom in. Jessie's like, no, stop zooming in on my stuff. Look at how cute that is. And beads and specialty stitches. Like, I was pretty ambitious as a teenager for trying to stitch that. But how cute. How cute is that? Like, so cool. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that box of chocolates. It's so cute. Right? The beads. So I like with the knowledge that I have now, I feel like that is a start for me. I entered a giveaway of Blitz Stitch because he was showing the magazine. I'll see if I can find it on eBay or something. I forgot what I was talking about before Jennifer reminded me of Jesse's finish. Do you remember what I was talking about? I don't. I don't remember. Oh, I think I was talking about consistently finishing your crosses the same way. So like I was saying, it's kind of hard to tell on this because the stitches are very thick. It's kind of hard to tell that they've been crossed all the same way. But like if you're on a 16 count or an 18 count, it's a little bit easier. No worries. It's a little bit it shows up a little bit easier that your stitches have been all crossed the same way. What's wrong? Audio track is unavailable. Huh. Too bad. Here, let me show you one that I have. This is 16 count. And you can tell that the stitches are a little bit neater. Of course, and sorry if you already know about all of this. DFTDA and DS. But there are techniques that you can use to make your stitches neater even though you're crossing them the same way. So is anybody interested to hear me talk about techniques? Because you might already know the techniques. Yeah, dude, that your embroidery, that's really cool. I remember my friend doing embroidery, and I remember looking at it and being like, I don't know if I would ever want to do that. And I still look at it that way because I kind of put it in the same category as art, like freehand art drawing. Okay, Haley. Not that I'm an expert, so certainly go and look for other people's opinions on this matter. Yeah, I think of embroidery as kind of like freehand art. So it's kind of, I'm like, oh, I'm not very good at that. Oh, for a few months. Wow, okay. Y'all are so, you're so supportive. Okay, so the first thing that I realized that helps make your stitches neater, and this is me, remember? Go find somebody else and listen to their opinion too. But wow. See, Zan, if you're still here, this fabric is making my threads fray. I notice I get like little strands. Okay, so making your stitches neater. The first thing is your needle. So this is my trajectory. I was using embroidery needles, which if you're looking at the tip of the needle, it's way more tapered like this around. And then with a tapestry needle, it's more like this. So it's still sharp at the end, but it tapers much quicker to the to the diameter of the needle. So instead of having this sharp of a needle, it goes like this. The point is still sharp, but it tapers. And I think the easiest way to understand this is if you, the ball-tipped needles, which are expensive, as I've heard, but as you put it through the fabric, it's less likely to split the threads that are already in the hole. So let me see if I have any of my embroidery needles. Oh, I don't think I do. What is this? Oh, it's an embroidery needle. Perfect. Okay, so take a look at this. I turned off autofocus. Give me a second. Okay. We're getting there. Come on. So can you tell? This is a very, very sharp tip and it has a slow taper. Whereas here is a size 20 something tapestry needle. The taper is much faster. Okay, left is embroidery, right is tapestry. So then when I still get the one over one. Oh, no worries, Tony. Yeah. You impale yourself pretty easily. Like this is sharp. Whereas here's the tapestry needle. Doesn't really hurt. So then I used to use these. And first of all, it takes a lot longer for you to find the correct spot for your needle. Because this just more easily punctures the fabric. So if you're working on a 16 count and you're trying to, like, it's easier to see from the front. Like I can tell that I can go into this hole pretty easily. But if you're, ooh, you see that? I didn't even make it in the hole. The needle is so sharp that I missed. I got below the hole. So that just by that alone, your needle makes a big difference. Now, I don't know very much about size needles, but it has a lot to do with the fabric that you're working on. So if you have a larger, if your fabric has larger holes, you can use a larger needle and your stitches will be fine. Or if you're using large holes and you have too small of a needle, maybe the stitches will lay a little bit differently. It all depends on your fabric or your floss, how it moves through the fabric, if it twists, if it doesn't, things like that. So then the second thing that I realized, and this is why I switched to diagonal stitching on my full coverage, is that if you are bringing your needle up in a hole that has 0 or 1 threads in it, you're less likely to split the threads that are already in that hole. So I guess I can demonstrate this with with a tapestry needle. So say that I am going to put a stitch right where my thumb is. So if I'm going to start, I'm going to put my needle up in a hole that is empty. Because if I try to make my first leg and put this up here, I'm more likely to split these pink threads and then they don't look as neat. So I'm going to, as much as possible, bring my needle up in holes that are less empty, less full, more empty. Okay, so I can do it here too. I'll bring it up in one that has 2. And then, I don't know if this looks like surgery right here, but I do, especially on full coverage, like if there's a lot of confetti, like with these ones here, I did not stitch all of these green stitches first. I stitched a diagonal row of green, diagonal row of yellow, diagonal row of green, diagonal row of yellow, and so on. I stitched it like this because if I stitch all the green first, then every single place where I have to put in a yellow stitch, I'm going through a hole that already has threads in it. So that's why I move back and forth. And this was kind of an exception. I was just like, I'll just complete these, and then I'll be a little bit more careful when I'm bringing my needle up in these ones. So sometimes I pick and choose, or sometimes I'm following a strict policy of, I'm not going to put a stitch underneath an empty spot. I don't know if that works, or if that makes sense. Okay, I need to catch up. My daughter just said 3 hours. Aw, yay! Oh, toddler, what are you doing? So that's kind of why I switched to diagonal stitching. Okay, let's see. You know about being consistent, about which corner you start the leg so the thread isn't pulling wonky and lays straighter. One technique, I'll talk about one technique after I catch up here. But I'm gonna... Yeah. That's true, Vanessa. So, if you're stitching on, you're welcome, Tanya. Sorry. I mess up kids' names all the time like that. I forget their names and then I mess it up. I have one girl who have messed her name up so many times and she does not seem impressed. I apologize profusely to her. One thing that I feel is very, very important, especially if you're stitching cross country. So on the back of your project, you want the thread to pull away from the direction that it's going. That doesn't make very much sense. So say that I need to put a stitch in here, right here on this blue part. And I finish and the next stitch that I have to put in is down here. So because my top leg is going top left to bottom right, and I'm gonna travel to over here, I want to put my needle down in this top one, because then the thread on the back will be pulled away from this hole and it'll make it easier to complete this stitch. So I'm gonna complete this stitch and go up in bottom right, down in top left, so that when it goes down here, then it's pulling away from this hole. Now, if I completed my stitch going top left to bottom right, and then I carried my thread here, then the likelihood of this thread being split is greater because you're pulling your thread across the hole, and then it's in the way there when you're trying to complete this stitch and this stitch and this stitch. Does that kind of make sense? Thread pulls toward the center of the X. Yeah. Oh, it is. Good. I wasn't completely wrong. Maximum thread bending technique. Listen to all of these terminology things. There's lots of videos of that. And then on linen, like Vanessa was saying, here, let me grab a piece of linen. You want to lean your floss up against the fence. Let me see. So if you're stitching on linen, you're stitching over 2 threads, which means that you're taking your X over 1, 2 threads. Okay, on Ada it's always over 1 because, hey James, good evening. I mean, we're kind of getting to the end of this. I've been going for an hour. So we're getting there. Linen or even weave. So even weave, if you're stitching really tiny, we will be stitching over one. But if you're stitching like a sampler or something, you might be stitching it over two. So what Vanessa was telling us about is that the first leg of your stitch should be leaning up against an up thread. So this is a vertical, here's a horizontal. This is what I was telling you about needles. Like this one barely has a sharp tip. So this goes through the fabric really nicely and it doesn't ever split any threads. So yeah, your first leg you want the legs to be, or you want it to be leaning up against these. So when I complete this leg, I don't know if this is where the stitch is, but I'm going to be going down through this. And I think that by default makes your stitches a little bit neater. There's another technique that's called railroading, and that is on as many of the legs as you want of your stitch. Here, let me see if I can demonstrate. It takes a little bit more time, but some people swear by it. I don't railroad, but I know what it is. So let me zoom in here. So if you're stitching with 2 strands, this is a technique that you might use. Look at this camera. It's really good. Look at how gross these stitches look. I'm gonna have to switch. So for railroading, you split your threads and you go in between them. And people say that makes their stitches neater. So especially on the top leg, you split the threads, and you go down in between them. And see, that didn't really work for me. I mean, like, I know it probably works, but it's the trumpet bag. I'd have to play around with railroading a little bit more to just really figure out if it works. So you split your threads, and then the idea is that it pulls them side by side down the hole a little bit easier, rather than having it twist as it's pulled through. You can always watch the replay. Okay, so you see how it's pulling it to side by side. Now another thing that I've seen some people do, let me see if I can find it. I think I can find it. Is use a laying tool. Ha! I have it. And this doesn't have to be a fancy thing. You can just like use a yeah, DJ Backstitch is in the house. You can use like a chopstick or something that works well for that. So here's my laying tool. It's kind of like, is this called an awl? AWL? So the idea is, I need that. Yeah, I needed this hand. So then the idea with the laying tool is you hold the flosses flat, and then as you pull it through, it does that same thing where it's side by side. The two threads are side by side. Okay, let me see if I can demonstrate again. I've like not used this laying tool. I know that Pam, is it just Pam? Oh, Pam's Crafty Corner. She's been on FlossTube 5 ever. So then you just pull it until it. See, I'm not very good. She has a really good tutorial on this. So then obviously you get more used to this and you can go faster, but you hold them flat and you let them lay like that. It just depends on how neat you want your stitches. So now check this out. This is 20 count. So I'm trying to put my needle up through here, and this is a tapestry needle, but you can see that it's kind of splitting this thread a little bit. So like that's another thing to be careful of, is when you're putting your needle up, you see how I'm like in the middle of that thread. For me, the neatness comes when you avoid splitting the threads. There's so many factors though. Like the holes are too small, so the threads get squished. I think that might be the case on this fabric. The holes are small, or I'm using too many strands. I find that the more strands you use on a small count fabric that's not supposed to handle that many strands, the messier they are. So like on this is 20 count, two strands, and the stitches aren't like bad, but they're not all the same, you know? But oh, these are whips. Where's my finishes? I want to show you some finishes. Oh. Excuse me while I get all of my stitching stuff out. What was I going to show you? Oh, so here's one that's 22 count, 1 strand. Some people do 2 strands on 22 count, and I'm like, what? Look, is there a cat hair in there? So 1 strand on 22 count, you can see there's some fabric showing through, but the stitches are pretty neat. Here's a 18 count, 2 strands, 2 over 1, and those are pretty neat. I used a dull needle for this as well, which is funny. Like you wouldn't really think that a duller needle makes your stitches neater. Neater. Yeah, this is pretty neat. That's okay. You stitch what you want to. I just am fascinated by trying a whole bunch of different things. Okay, and let me show you, I stitch, that's an 18, 16. I stitch on 14 count and above, I stitch with 3 strands. So this is 3 strands. I guess these ones don't look as good. Yeah, they're okay. I think and it also depends on what method you're using, if you're using a hoop or in hand. Some of this I stitched in hand, some of this I stitched in a hoop. I think these colors up here were all in a hoop because I was like, I'm just gonna get these done. Look at those blended threads. I really like these. They're really cool. Yeah, it just depends. Yeah, I mean, black is probably the worst to try to get coverage. Do you want to see an 11 count? I did a Florida on 11 count. Maybe I should do a finish parade at the end of the year. Unfinished, just FFOs, things that I have not finished. So here's 11 count, 3 strands, and those are pretty neat. But there's still fabric showing through, especially on those green stitches. This one was really fun. I only did this in hand, because like, I don't know. Yep. Well, we got so much stitching done. What is this? Oh, let me show you this one too. Ugh, sorry. Here's my, Zan, here's my 1/1 on 25 count. 25 count. And this one turned out pretty well, but this is kind of a thick fabric. I feel like maybe the thinner the fabric is, the more it will show, depending on your combo. Oh, and how tightly you stitch. If you pull tight, then you might get some fabric showing through. And then, yay, Haley! I kind of like 11 count. It's pretty fun. Oh, this is not going well. What am I doing here? What? The age-old question. And then this one is 14 count, but I used 2 strands because the floss was a little bit, how do I say this? It's just like a little bit more plump than DMC. So this came in a kit, and the floss was like a little bit thicker. The colors are similar to DMC, but there are some other companies that just kind of copy DMC. You talking to me? So I did this with 2 strands. Loop start. This one was a fun little stitch. What other one did I do? Did I do the elephants? I thought I did 2 of these. It's not in here. Huh. I don't know. I don't know where it is. Okay, I'm gonna have to be done because... Can I put it in here? As everything falls out. Oh yeah, no, I did the giraffes. Here's looking at you, kid. That's too orange. That giraffe, look at their necks. It's just like orange. Orange. This one's also two strands. You have 14 count for your next project. Don't be nervous. Just try it. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, then whatever. Do something else. You do like a plump floss. Yeah, so Haley, some things... Oh, yeah, 11 count. 2 strands is pretty sparse. Now that I've torn everything out of my stitching bin right here, we gotta get it back all in. Full on nerdy. We're nerds. We're nerds. Okay, Iowa, go away. Yeah, I think I'll be stitching 1/1 on 20 count now. I mean, this is fine, but I suppose it might depend on the colors in the pattern. Llamas. Yeah. Do I have llamas? No. Okay. Now all of the things that I took out, I need to put back. I know what I'm doing for this week, but I have to actually write out my lesson plans just to be sure I have them. And I also do have to work on my substitute plans if I have a substitute, like emergency sub plans. And hopefully get all my grading done. Yeah. Yay, Christy! How many did I get? Not very many. 91. That was close. We were talking a lot. Yes, Ashley. 10 stitch. Woohoo! I recommend... I got this on Amazon. A fine point Mark Be Gone. It's a fabric pen, and I just put a dot on my fabric at the 10 by 10 grid lines. But I know some people who just draw lines on their fabric. I used to do that, but I stopped doing that now. So anyway, yeah, of course, Tanya, and pop in on another live. I think I'm too lazy to actually record like a tutorial video. But there are many good ones. If you're looking for techniques, the needlebug, Karen, she does such a good job at explaining things. She has loop start for 25 count, one strand, pin stitch, all different techniques, and she's very knowledgeable. She has a really good tutorial on washing projects, which I should just do. All those projects that I have not washed and finished. Oh, one other thing that I have not tried, but I think will help make your stitches look neater, is when you wash it, it just kind of saturates the threads and plumps them up a little bit and gives them a little bit more full look. And then as it dries, it just stays in that nice plumped up thing. Plumped up thing. Wow. My full coverage, I think about that as I'm stitching. I'm like, oh, I can't wait until I wash this, and then the threads will just be a little bit more there. Sounds good, Tanya. I go live every Sunday. Sometimes I do a surprise stream. I think I did the surprise stream on Monday. It sounds like we're gonna start making food. Alrighty, yeah. Thanks for watching, y'all. This was a hoppin' stream. Plump threads. This is everyone's in on the conversation today. Thank you if you're new. If you came here for your first time, welcome, and thanks for asking for advice. I love to give advice, even though it might not be the best advice. But always take it with a grain of salt. Try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. All right, I need to stop rambling and help DJ Backstitch get something in the food area. I'm just talking. All right. Bye. See you next time.